Lindo Kuhlekulu joins us now live from Vlakfontein. Lindo, if I may just start here, how were the bodies found exactly and by who?
Well, as you mentioned it in your intro there, the bodies were discovered by the sister when she came to see why her family members were not answering phones and were not in communication with her, which she says is typically what they did on a normal basis. But when she couldn't reach them on the phone, she came in fact to this house and asked the neighbors what was happening. But the neighbors gave her a story that they claim was told by one of the people who lived inside the house, saying that they were away for a funeral at KZN, but because she knew that there was no funeral at KZN, she then walked around the yard and there was a stench coming from the house, and that was when she called some neighbors and said they must try now to look inside the house, and they broke in with her permission, being the sister of the house owner. And when they got there, they saw shallow graves, but at that time it was just a pile of sand in both the room inside inside the house. There was one of the rooms that had that pile of sand, as well as the outside room just opposite that very same room. And that is how they discovered that in fact the stench is becoming stronger, and they called the police to come and see. That is when they made that discovery, and discovering that in fact there were three ladies, adults that were buried underneath this, and of course the children there, 4 children between the ages of 2 and 11 years old.
Now, Lindo, the person who came up with this story that these people had gone to attend a funeral in KZN, presumably is the person who is now in police custody, and he is the main suspect, and he has been staying with this family.
Well, Vuyo, what we are understanding now, of course, this is a developing story, so we get details as we go along. But what we understand, in fact, now is that the person who was taken into custody was the husband of one of the ladies here who owns this particular house. But the person who was renting, in fact, the tenant, was also taken into police custody for questioning, but later released. But we understand that currently the husband of the homeowner is in police custody, being questioned around the details of where he was. But the community members are saying on the ground that when he was taken yesterday, he did say to the police that he was away to his family in another province, and that is why he wasn't here for whatever happened here. But one of the people whom the police are looking for, of course, is that very same person that the neighbors are saying told them that the family is away to KZN, to KwaZulu-Natal, for a funeral. And we understand, in fact, we spoke to the principal of the crèche here, the preschool, who actually told us that the reason why they were not checking why the child wasn't coming to school from the 10th of this month was because the very same person who told the neighbors that the family was away went to the preschool and told the principal that in fact this child won't be coming to school and will only be coming to school after month end, which is of course when this month ends. Will only be coming to school, because there is a funeral in KZN. So the community are saying that they had the same story from the very same person. Now, the person that is being described is the person that the police are saying must come. They are naming or labeling him as a possible suspect at this particular point in time. Of course, following investigations, they are calling on the community, they are calling on everyone to come up front if they have information of his whereabouts. They're saying right now their priority is to question him as to what he told the community and, of course, what he knows about what happened in this house.
Very, very briefly, Lindo, do we know how these people were, how they lived with their neighbors and the broader community?
Well, the community has described them as a very normal family, and in fact have described the homeowner, which is the lady, one of the ladies that was found who owns this house. They described her as, a custodian helping around the community, and whenever there was a funeral or whenever there was an event really in the community, she was one of the people who was at the forefront of helping families around the community. And one of the ladies describing it as saying that she found it very strange not seeing her at one of the funerals that took place case over this weekend and saying that because she's always there for the people in this community, they were worried as to why she wasn't here. But because of that story that was given to them by the person whom the police are looking for, that was when they knew that, okay, the person is attending to a family matter, and that is why they are not seeing him, but seeing her. But what they said was very untypical was the fact that there was this funeral in the community and she wasn't there to actually help out those communities in need at that particular point in time.
Well, that's where we're going to leave it, Lindo, of course, keeping an eye on that sad story where several bodies have been found, saying, of course, police are looking for a suspect who is at large at the moment, but they have also gotten hold of the husband of one of the deceased women. He has been, he's being questioned by police at this stage.